I'm a professional photographer on the internet, and today I'm going to tell you why this camera right here, if I can even call it a camera, it's just, not a professional one. Well, number one, it's not full frame, and if it's not full frame, it's not professional. Look at this tiny sensor. It's so tiny that you don't want anyone to see you with such a tiny sensor, right? You want a big, big sensor. You want the full frame sensor because it's bigger and better. If you want your shots to be cinematic, you gotta use a full frame sensor because that's how it works. If you go on a set and you have a tiny sensor like that, clients are gonna come and look at you like, what the hell is this? It's too small, so just get a bigger sensor. Get the full frame. And what about medium format? What's that? Medium format. It's medium, right? So it must be smaller than full frame. Now second, look at this. It's too light, it's not heavy enough. When I go to a shoot, I like going to a shoot and feeling heavy bag on my back. That's what I want. I want to feel all sweaty, That's the kind of thing I like. Like when I go to see my clients, I want to be tired, I want to be sweaty. And if you're not tired and all sweaty and all greasy, you're not a real pro photographer, right? And when you get that camera out of the bag, look at this. It's so tiny. No, you want a big brick. You want a big heavy brick that you can show to your client and you're gonna be all scared and all, wow, it's a big camera, right? Now, because this sensor is so tiny, look at it, it's so small, you can't have bokeh with that. There's no way to have shallow depth of field. And you want to shoot everything wide open, right? You want everything to be shallow all the time. Eiffel Tower on the background? Nah. Just blur it out. You got several family members? Nah. Now we just want one eye in focus and that's it, But with this tiny camera and this tiny lens, that's what, f1.4, but it doesn't count because it's an aps-c. It's a crop sensor. It's a shit sensor, right? So crop sensor is not gonna give you good bokeh. So just don't buy that. No bokeh, not professional. Now the autofocus doesn't work on this camera. Look at me. With a Sony camera, I can point my camera here, the subject is in the background and it will still autofocus. But with this, it doesn't work at all. If someone is moving a little bit, the picture is going to be blurry. Sony has better autofocus than this. That's why you should pick Sony. And that's all that matters. If I can't get extremely sharp focus all the time, it doesn't matter. This, not usable, not professional. Now those amateur photographers, they talk about the color of the Fuji, right? But us professional, we always spend 1 hour editing every single picture that we take. See, I had one shot this month, only one shot, and I spent the entire month editing it. That's how I make money. If you're a professional photographer, you don't need nice colors out of the camera. You gotta spend all your days and night editing. If you gotta deliver 200 shots a session, well, better get started because you don't need nice color out of the camera. Nobody needs that. Just spend more time editing. So when I'm on set, I like moody dark areas like this. Which means I need to crank up my ISO all the way to 12,800 all the time. And with Fujifilm it doesn't work because I tested and the grain in Fujifilm is 2.6789% bigger than the grain in my Sony or my Canon. So it's not professional. So if you want a professional camera that you're gonna use in low light all the time because nobody uses flash, nobody uses light nowadays, then you cannot pick Fuji because the ISO is terrible. And you know what? The worst point of all, it's too cheap. When you're a business, you got too much money to count. You gotta spend all your money on body and glass because that's what good business do. They spend a lot of money up front and then they try to make the money. With this Fuji, you're not gonna be able to spend all your money, so it doesn't count, it's not professional. You gotta buy the most expensive gear out there. And Fuji doesn't cut it, it's too cheap. So stop wasting your time. Just buy full frame and become instantly professional. That's all there is to it. Full frame, professional. aps-c Fuji, amateur.